Allimir walked over to Tecar's now lifeless body. The remaining 2 arrows had struck his brother in the chest and head, killing him instantly. Allimir knelt beside him, numb, and sure of how he should feel. The stream, now filled with Tecar's blood, washed over Allimir, baptizing him in a crimson coat of death. The rain continued to fall like a torrent of burning needles sent from the heavens. Beads of water cascading down Allimir's face, blurring his vision. Wiping the rain from his eyes, Allimir removed the 3 arrows, breaking them at the shaft and pulling them from Tecar's examinate body. Carrying him from the stream, Allimir laid Tecar carefully on the bank, brushing his hand over his brother's face, closing his eyes that had been frozen in a shocking death stare. "What can I do?" Anon spoke somberly. Placing his hand on Anon's shoulder, Allimir said, "Nothing for now, my friend. We will prepare his body for the final journey tomorrow." Anon nodded. "Let me tend to your wound before infection takes hold." Allimir sat while Anon carefully applied burdock root paste and bandaged Allimir's leg. "There," Anon announced. "You'll be as good as new by morning." Allimir nodded and smiled. "Thank you. Now let us get some rest. I have much to do tomorrow." The companions returned to their beds, the rain pelting their shelters like obstreperous applause. But Allimir heard nothing. His head spun with memories of Tecar, the cruelty, the repeated attempts on his life, his own adoration for Tecar as a young child. Allimir drifted into unconsciousness, his dreams haunted with apparitions of his brother's face. Waking early, Allimir stepped from his shelter and, stretching, witnessed the beauty of surroundings. The rippling stream meandered aimlessly on its journey towards the great ocean, reflecting an exquisite picture of nature upon its distorted surface. An eagle spread its enormous wings and leapt from the cliff above into an azure sky of pure perfection, which appeared to wrap itself lovingly around all it pervaded. The dawn chorus filled every second of peace, greeting the new day with angelic melodies. Then, like a strange object that had been dropped from a foreign world, lay Tecar, bruised and blooded, his once beautiful olive skin now turned to an ashen shade of death and decay. As an Inalu, Allimir was forbidden to consume any relative or loved one. They were now over 1 moon from Falanesti, and returning Tecar's body for ritual consummation was not practical, as his flesh would not endure the long journey, and for a Bosmer, not being consumed after death would mean refusal into the heavens, leaving them to roam the world as half-creatures for all eternity. With this in mind, Allimir had decided to break with Inalu law and consume his brother as a defeated enemy, which was permitted. Consummation began when the sun was at its highest in the sky, and ended once it had dropped below the horizon. But before this, Tecar's body would need cleansing in preparation. Removing his brother's clothes, Allimir carefully washed Tecar's skin, starting at his head, gently wiping away any blood and grime. Allimir spoke the ancient words of Ifra as he continued to cleanse his brother's body. "I offer this soul to you, almighty Ifra, giver of life, protector of forests, and cleanse his body so that you may cleanse his soul." This chant continued until Allimir had washed Tecar's entire body. Standing, Allimir spoke, "My brother, I entrust your soul to Ifra. As a fallen enemy I honour you. May you find peace in the heavens of eternal life." Anon had risen shortly after Allimir and had watched the entire cleansing ceremony, moved by Allimir's gentle hand and heartfelt words. The sun was now almost at its highest, and not wanting to witness a consummation out of respect and disgust, Anon left to hunt for his own meal. Returning after nightfall, Anon walked back into camp, several rabbits slung over his shoulder. Allimir was sitting at the foot of a makeshift shrine, constructed from several stones piled neatly, with a large flat stone atop. Tecar's personal possessions were carefully placed on the shrine, his dagger, bow, and clothes neatly folded, and a large parcel wrapped and tied with deerskin that Anon would later find out were Tecar's remains. Anon sat at the fire, quietly preparing the rabbits for cooking. Allimir joined him and spoke in a surprisingly upbeat tone. "It's done, my friend. Thank you for respecting my privacy earlier." Smiling, Allimir placed his hand on Anon's shoulder. "I'm surprised to see you in such good spirits," Anon replied. Allimir nodded his head and said, "I have made peace with my brother. He treated me abysmally throughout my life, but the fault did not lie entirely at his feet. Tradition and prejudice within my own race is more to blame than Tecar himself. I am once again humbled by your kindness, insight, and wisdom. You are truly a man that others should strive to become," Anon said. "Tecar's strength now lives within me. His physical presence lives on, and his soul resides in the heavens. I feel the burden of hate eradicated from my heart." Allimir sighed with relief, pausing for a moment. "And find myself happier and more content than I have ever been." Sitting at the fire, the friends swapped stories of adventure and valour, while Anon banqueted on the spoils from his hunt. "Not hungry?" Anon said, grinning. "I should wipe that grin from your face," Allimir responded sternly. Pausing for a moment, Allimir's expression turned to one of amusement. He punched Anon's arm playfully, laughing and shaking his head with an expression of incredulity.